It's a Monday, too much to talk about, but we'll try. I'm Dan, that's Kyle, and we have breaking news to begin Toronto Sports Rush. Connor McDavid not going anywhere to the surprise of not many. He's going to finish what he started in Edmonton, Kyle.
Dan, he put out the message on social media just a few moments ago that our journey here continues, and the entire province of Alberta, with the exception of the area in and around Calgary, breathes a very deep sigh of relief. And on a personal level, it would have been interesting to see him play elsewhere, but I do enjoy that he is determined to bring the cup back to Edmonton.
Okay, that's out of the way. Now all I want to talk about is what all Canada wants to talk about, and that is the Toronto Blue Jays. And we have a former Jay with us today, and that's Frank Catalanotto. Frank Catalanotto, to talk about an historic victory for the Toronto Blue Jays in Game 2 against the Yankees. Frank, your thoughts on seeing the stat line, seeing what happened? There's almost too much to wrap our heads around.
Wow, that was pretty impressive. The Jays look good right now. Yesavage, if I'm saying his name
Yep.
right, was lights out. Nasty splitter. I knew nothing about this kid until I watched the game, and the bats are alive. The Yankees are in trouble right now. The Jays look good.
Frank, he played for the Vancouver Canadians this season.
Really, I did
This
not know that.
season.
Yeah, this season.
This season. That's a thing that happened. And then he brought that stuff into the game yesterday. Going back to the level of trouble the Yankees are in right now, too, how hard is it for a baseball team to turn this momentum around? And yeah, I mean, they put some runs on the board, but they were pretty much garbage time runs yesterday, that the game was not as close as that scoreboard actually showed. How hard is it for a baseball team like the Yankees to change their perspective on game three right now, what they're feeling?
Yeah, it's got to be tough. I mean, the one thing they have going for them is they're coming home. They play well at Yankee Stadium. I think they have Rodon pitching. The next game. So, but you're right. I mean, how could you feel good about it? I mean, 2 games in a row, you get beat up pretty bad, and the Jays, they don't look like they're gonna, take their foot off the gas pedal. So it's got to be tough, but hopefully they have short memories, and for the Yankee fans, hopefully, they can make this a series.
I came with receipts. Combined with scoring the final 8 runs in game 1, the Jays became the first team to score 20 straight runs without allowing one within a series in postseason history. Their 23 runs in this series are the most in the first 2 games of a series in postseason history. When you're on the receiving end of that as the Yankees, it must just feel like, first off, you can't throw in the towel, but it must just feel like you're never going to get the next out.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when you're going against a pitcher like Fried. The Yankees have to feel good about it going into the game, and he just gets beat up. So, again, the Jays have to be on cloud nine. They have so much confidence right now, and the Yankees have their back against the wall. So it's a tough spot. But I'll tell you, I'm happy. I'm happy for the city of Toronto because it's they're excited now, and they have a lot to be excited about because this isn't a team that's just going to be good for this year. They've got a great future.
Frank, you played the game in Toronto and other places as well, but in Toronto 2003 to 2006, you now coach the game. So you have a unique perspective on what the players and the management and both teams could be feeling right now. If you're the Toronto Blue Jays, you almost feel like it's important to they have to let go of the first 2 games just as much as the Yankees at this point, do they not? Because every game's a new battle. They're going into Yankee Stadium. It's a very tough place to play in. How does the coach keep the emotions in check right now while they're riding high? How do the players remain focused on their duty to start anew tomorrow night?
Yeah, that's a real good point because just because you're up 2-0, this series can change quickly. If the Yankees come out and take one game at a time and win 2 in a row, it's back to even. So yeah, as the skipper, you just have to, like you said, let them know, like, hey, one game at a time. Let's not think about we're up 2-0 and that we just beat the heck out of them in 2 games. Let's go pitch to pitch, at bat to at bat, and take care of business. And you don't want that. You don't want your players to be looking ahead to the next series.
I want you to try dissect Trey Yesavage's arm angle. By the way, he compiled 11 strikeouts, a postseason franchise record, and became just the second pitcher with 10 strikeouts and 0 hits allowed in a game in postseason history. His arm angle, they said, was the second highest release point in Major League Baseball. Who, if anyone, would compare when you faced pitchers in the big leagues to the angle that he comes in at?
Yeah, it's tough. There weren't a lot, with that splitter. The thing it reminded me of was when I was facing Roger Clemens, only because Roger Clemens' split was nasty. It looked like a fastball coming out of his hand, and he didn't necessarily go as high as Yesavage did, but I kind of felt for the hitters because I was like, "Ooh, I remember that. It looks like it's going to be a fastball right over the middle of the plate, and it just disappears." So, especially when you're coming from that angle, it looks so good. And you saw some of the swings that the Yankees were having, and it's tough as a hitter going up there knowing like, hey, what I'm seeing is not going to really be what I'm seeing because, again, the ball just disappears.
Now, Frank, when I'm watching that, because guys always dig in at the back of the box, with a pitcher like that, I'm like, move up to the front. No one ever does. Would that not help if you moved it to the front of the box?
That's a good point. I used to do that. So if a guy had a good split or a good out pitch that dove down into the dirt, I would move way up in the box, and I purposely tried to make the catcher see me move up there because in my head I was thinking, oh, maybe now he'll just come with a straight fastball thinking he could blow it by me because I'm way up at the front of the box. And I said to myself, I'd rather get that fastball at 95 with me being way in the front of the box, yeah, because I have more of a chance because now even if I get jammed, at least I'm going to be able to put the ball in play. Whereas if I'm at the back of the box and this guy throws me this split that disappears, I'm not going to have a chance. So, yeah, I'm surprised that we didn't see guys moving up, closer to the pitcher.
That's a great point, Frank. I want to stick on that arm angle just a little bit longer because one thing during the broadcast, and I was watching the Canadian broadcast, I think, Dan, you were watching the Fox one, so you might be able to comment to this. They kept explaining to the viewer at home, hey, that's a fastball. Hey, that's a split finger, because we were not used to seeing the breaking pattern of his pitches coming from that arm angle. And it's like they had to keep explaining it to the viewer at home. Now, you're the New York Yankees or whoever he would face next, potentially in a playoff run here. You have so little tape on this guy, but you have this masterclass he put on yesterday. How do you prepare to face a guy like this with such a little tape and such a unique release point?
So what you would have to do is try to tell your hitters, hey, you have to see the ball up, kind of uncomfortably up by the letters, because if it's a fastball, all right, you'll be able to make contact. But if it's that split, it's going to be in the zone. If you are looking middle where normally would look, that's the one that's going to be in the dirt. So whenever I faced a guy that had a good changeup or a good split, I would always say to myself, make sure you're swinging at the one that's up and letting the one that's low go. So there's not much you can do, but that's one thing that helped me out a little bit.
Speaking of the American broadcasters, I was watching the Fox post game, and Derek Jeter referred to Ernie Clement as Ernie Clemente. And you almost, as a player, or as a fan of a team, you want to see that because that's going to get back to the guys and they're going to say, see, no one knows us. They don't think we're even worthy of them knowing our names. When that happens, it has to make it back into the clubhouse, right?
Oh, definitely. It makes it back into the clubhouse, and it could motivate some guys, Not that the Jays need any more motivation, but that's definitely something that the players hear.
Ernie Clement, I don't know if you saw his home run. He one-armed it out. And I'm like, that used to happen all the time back in the day. You don't see it very often now.
You don't. You're absolutely right. But, they've got luck on their side right now. And, when you stay through the ball like he does, and you get it on the barrel, sometimes it just flies.
Yeah.
Frank, can you identify a couple of keys for the Toronto Blue Jays? Because they're in a position right now, they would want to get this done on Tuesday night. They want the 3-0 sweep. They want the rest. Dan and I have talked about Bieber typically in his starts has had one bad inning and that's it. But beyond the key, the first key I think of is don't let the Yankees score in the first inning. But beyond that, what are the keys to a Jays victory beyond simply continuing this offensive onslaught?
Yeah, I don't think they have to overthink it. I mean, do exactly what they've been doing. The pitchers have been getting ahead, throwing strikes, and that's what Bieber does. He doesn't walk very many batters, and the offense has been rolling. I do think, to your point, scoring first is big, especially in this next game at Yankee Stadium. But I wouldn't put too much emphasis on one thing or the other. I would just say, hey, continue to play the way you're playing, throw strikes, put together some good at bats. I mean, these at bats that the Jays have been putting together have been pretty impressive. So, I wouldn't want them to change anything or have a different approach. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Last thing, you're John Schneider. You can put your shoes, you can put your feet in the shoes of a manager because you are one. What do you say to the team going into Yankee Stadium? They've played there. They've heard the roll call. They know what the Bronx is like. What do you say?
Yeah, just don't let Yankee Stadium take you out of your game, right? Obviously, there, it's the place is obviously going to be packed. It's going to be loud. Uh, the chirping is going to be at an all-time high. Just don't let it get you out of your game. Just continue to relax, play the game. Right now the Blue Jays look like the much better team. So again, I wouldn't go overboard trying to change anything they're doing. Just relax and don't let these fans get to your head.
Frank, thank you so much for joining us here today. We really appreciate your perspective, and we hope you enjoy the rest of the playoff season.
All right, thanks guys. Take care.
There he is, Frank Catalanotto. I mentioned to him when we had him on the show earlier this summer. He was in my fantasy lineup when he had his historical. Was it a 6-hit game? Was that right?
Yes,
Yeah,
6-hit game.
6 hits. And lost in the shuffle. Dalton Varsho had a 4-hit game on Sunday, the first 4-hit game of his career.
Dan, that was really impressive. I went back and watched the replay. I'm fine with them calling that a double, to be honest with you. I know you hate the cycle anyways. It doesn't matter at all, but like I went and watched it again. It's like, no, he absolutely booted that ball around out there. That was a double and I don't know, an act of stupidity or a brief mental brain fart. What else is going on in sports, Dan? Buffalo Bills suffered their first loss last night.
I didn't see a second of it. I saw the highlights, and it took me about a minute and a half into the highlights to figure out if the team I thought was the Bills was actually the Patriots because of the uniforms.
Yeah, the uniforms were a definite statement, and given that they lost this game, this Patriots team is fairly dangerous. Drake May had an exceptional game. There was just fumbles and penalties all over the place, especially in the first half of the game. It was somewhat sloppily played. No one had particularly poor numbers for the Bills. They just didn't get it done. And, we talked to our very good buddy on Friday, and he was telling us that, they really haven't been executing to the full extent of their ability in the last couple of games of the season. They've kind of punted the ball a little bit against the Saints in that, and they probably should have beaten this New England team, and they failed to do so.
I do want to point out that once again, the highest total of the weekend, and I asked Todd Furman about this, if it would go over. He said, I definitely would not take the under in the Lions and Bengals, and it went over the number again. So I believe every highest total of the weekend has gone over to this point of the NFL season.
I take all my advice, not just betting from Todd. Although we did have a brief exchange on X/Twitter late last week where he was quite confident in the New York Yankees going into this series. So I don't know if we should have a box of Kleenex ready for him on Friday's show this week or what we can do to console him, but it's not going well for him, his team.
Yeah, I don't think he cares. He as he as he said, he focuses mostly on the NFL. And I just know one set of people are very upset by what the Jays are doing, and that is uh, Fox, because they have the World Series and they don't get the ratings numbers, which are astronomical in Canada. They don't get those when the Jays play. So it's high ratings in Canada, not in the States.
What
But
would be
I
the
don't I
worst?
don't care.
No, it doesn't affect me in any way whatsoever. What's the worst case scenario for them? Toronto, Milwaukee?
Oh, 100%.
Like that's a big metropolitan
1000%.
area, but but the other three American teams are all good for them. Philadelphia, Los
Yep.
Angeles, Chicago, big fan bases. It's not like Milwaukee's is small, but they far from have a national presence in the States like the other three teams. So let's pray for that just as a little
Yeah.
grind in the ribs.
We will be back with a Jays post-game show after game number 3, which the Jays could sweep the Yankees in, and that happens on Tuesday. But Connor McDavid signs an extension in Edmonton. Jays are up 2-0 in the series, and the Bills lose their first game of the season. We'll recap everything this coming Wednesday, but not before we do the post-game show Tuesday, Kyle.
Have a great day, everyone.